A lot of you have asked about the technical setup that we have here at ACM Training to make our online workshops visually stimulating, and this short video is for the geeks out there, and believe me, there are plenty of you, plenty of us, because I'm a geek too. The first thing to say is that we don't just rely on one camera. For most people, this is the camera that's built into the laptop lid or that sits just on top of the computer screen if you're sitting at a desktop. We have what's called in the trade a multi-camera shoot. So this is camera 1. If I press button 2, however, you can see that we've got an alternative, slightly old school flip chart, because sometimes, you know, old tech is more effective than new tech, and there's more. Button 3 provides overhead cam. As you can see, I've got a rough script here for this video, some playing cards that we use in our media and communications training. Sometimes there may be some keyboard skills required, so we've got the ability to bring a keyboard into this shot as well. And if I press button 4, you can see the slightly wider context, and I'll be talking you through each of the cameras and each of the features in due course. If I press button 5, up comes a laptop source, and indeed with button 6, I can actually press the buttons and show you what's at the heart of this whole setup. It's called an Atem Mini Extreme ISO, and I'll provide some links at the end of this video if you're interested in buying a piece of this equipment. So let's run through cameras. Camera 1 is this one, the one that I'm pointing at right now, and that is a Panasonic Lumix GH5. And the really crucial important thing is whatever camera you use, whether it's got a fixed lens or like this one, whether it's got an adjustable lens, the camera has an HDMI output. An HDMI output is crucial for all of the cameras in this setup. Camera 2 up there, the one that's pointing at the flip chart stand, the standing position as I would call it, is a Sony PMW 100. That's an XD cam camera that we had lying around in our sister company, ACP Television. This camera here on the bendy arm is overhead cam. Let me press the button to show you overhead cam. That's just a GoPro. It's simply a GoPro on a little flexible arm that is fixed to the scaffolding pole that we've rigged to the wall on the desk here in front of me. Camera 4 is also a GoPro. There it is up there, a high GoPro camera. And the key to all of this is this little bit of equipment here. It's called the Atem Mini Extreme ISO, and each of the camera or laptop sources, the other end of the HDMI lead, is plugged into the back of this bit of kit along with the microphone. And the clever hardware come software turns all of those separate feeds into one single USB output that plugs into the back of your computer. And as far as your computer is concerned, it treats it as one simple single webcam source. You can even plug your smartphone in and use your smartphone as an additional camera. It can do some other things, and we'll explore those in future episodes. But this is the heart. This is the switch that turns multiple cameras, as far as your computer is concerned, into one camera. There's a couple of other things that I can talk about as well. In order to get the best possible audio quality, you'll see perhaps just here, there's a microphone hiding behind the light, and this is powered by this mixing desk here, and we can plug several microphones in, and we can adjust the volume of the microphone, or indeed we can change the microphone for podcasts where the audio quality is really, really important. We use this big Rode microphone, and this little thing here is a wind guard to stop the, or a pop guard I should say, to stop the plosive sounds, the P's and the B's, when you get your lips up close and personal with that. You can see we've also got several screens. The main computer is 2 screens. There's a third screen over here that gives me the ability to keep an eye on what source I'm switching to next. And then over here is a big TV screen, so that when I'm standing up or one of my colleagues is standing up at the flip chart there, they can not just see themselves, but also more importantly, they can see their trainees in the Zoom room. The final couple of things to mention, and I'll do a breakdown of each of these things separately in subsequent videos, is that there's a nice bright source of light off to one side so that your face has light on one side and a little bit of darkness on the other to suggest three-dimensionality. And then at the press of a button, where is it, somewhere over here, I can press that button there and I can change the backdrop. You can see it coming down in the extreme left of the shot. Perhaps I can demonstrate it better there. Because yes, sometimes books are the kind of backdrop that you need to suggest that you're a learned, bookish kind of fella, as I'm clearly trying to do here. But there will be occasions where you don't want to distract from the words that you're speaking, and a plain white background, in this case with a little splash of lovely pink on it, is more appropriate. And at the press of this button, an old projector screen comes down automatically. The total cost of this setup, including the camera, is certainly under £5,000, but actually if you've got a couple of GoPros lying around in your toy box, you could probably do a setup similar to this for under £1,000, possibly even under £500 if you used old smartphones and things like that. Finally, why is it important to provide visually stimulating training sessions, in our case here at ACM, or presentations if you're running a Zoom meeting? Well, because the eyes, the human eye, is just like every other part of our body, controlled by muscles. And if those muscles don't do much, if they stay still for too long, they get cramped. And the longer you're looking at an unchanging image, the longer those muscles are doing nothing, and the heavier our eyelids become, until at some point our eyelids are completely closed. We may not be physically asleep, but we're not watching proceedings. And the idea of having different buttons to press to make the whole thing visually stimulating is that every time the picture changes, people's muscles move and they wake up, those muscles, and by extension, the whole person. In future videos, we'll have a look at a little bit more detail at the lighting, at the microphones, at the camera setups, at the backdrops and so on. But I just wanted to get this one out here to explain to those of you who'd like to build a similar setup how relatively straightforward it is. Till next time, bye-bye.